Today we have another spiritual review, another movie insights, and we're gonna be examining the movie Equalizer. This is one of my favorite films, and I believe that the more you watch this movie, the more enriched is your viewing experience of it. There are certain details that if you watch it the first time, you can't really glance all the depth of themes that are running throughout the plot. But once you watch it over and over again, then you begin to appreciate more this work of art that is put in this movie, that even though it has a lot of violence, it does have a very powerful message. For example, the contrast between McCall and Nikolai, or Teddy, is one that at the beginning you just characterize it as a villain versus a hero, right? Or the main character, the main star. But when you watch it, for at least for me the second time, you begin to appreciate there's a deeper connection between Teddy and Robert, because they both have some of the same abilities. They're like on opposite ends of the same vocation or mission. For example, Teddy is able to see the crime scene and he can reconstruct what happened and even judge or determine who was behind the killings. The same way that McCall, when he goes into a room, just by analyzing a person and looking certain details within their body, within their dresses, he can picture or he can foresee what that person is capable of. So they both have some of the same features or some of the same abilities. And while Robert in the film is inspired by justice, faith, and hope, Nikolai is literally consumed by darkness or evil. He has no inspiration in his life or nor care for justice. So there's like a conflict between light and darkness, and these two characters are not just fighting against each other in the natural. They're sizing each other up. They're evaluating each other emotionally, psychologically, and even spiritually. They want to understand each other's aspirations and values, and they want to confront one another beyond just fighting. And that's why there's certain scenes where they confront one another. And for example, when Teddy goes into McCall's apartment, they begin to speak to each other without actually addressing what they really say. For example, Nikolai gives Robert a picture of a girl that he murdered, and he asks Robert, "Have you seen this woman?" And McCall says, "Yes, I can't remember from where." And what actually Nikolai is saying, "You think you're gonna protect these girls? I'm gonna keep killing them." Then Robert talks to Nikolai and says, "Are you not gonna leave me your card? Isn't that what police officers do in case I remember anything?" What he's really saying is, just like you keep killing, I'm gonna keep finding who is doing all these crimes. So it's almost like they're speaking beyond the natural. They like examining each other's posture and responses, and they're sizing each other up. And they find, not only Nikolai to Robert and Robert to Nikolai, they find that they are formidable opponents. They are at the same level of abilities and vocation and will. So it's very powerful, because this is like a drama, not just an action movie. McCall is not about destroying people. He's about transforming them. That's why he always gives each one of the people he confronts an opportunity to change, to make a decision. He wants to change them. He gives them a chance to make things right. And there's like a war of ideas and ideologies behind these characters. They are confronting each other's worldview. When they talk in a dinner table, Nikolai tells Robert that he perceives him as a sentimental man, and he views that kind of sentiment as a weakness. Now Robert, he flips that around, and what he tells Nikolai is that in fact Teddy is afraid of the weakness that he is portraying in Robert. and he pictures Nikolai as a small, scared little boy who treats everybody the way he's afraid that somebody will treat him. So as they're looking into each other's eyes, there's a line in the movie where Nikolai and Robert confront one another, and you can see how the Equalizer, he can discern the motives and what is driving this character named Nikolai. Yet Nikolai cannot comprehend why is Robert investing himself, his energy, and his ability towards a cause that he doesn't believe is worthy. And in that film is almost, in that moment in the film is almost like saying that's why Teddy is defeated. He's defeated by the Equalizer because he can judge him. He can give him an opportunity to repent, to change his mind, to have mercy, but he can judge him because he's not standing upon justice. He's really driven by hatred, by evil. Not only in that part, but you can also see how each one of the characters that Robert is helping throughout the film, they're struggling to find purpose. The movie is actually all about purpose. And that's something that when you first watch it, you might not really glance at, but the security guard that he's helping is struggling with insecurities and abuses that a department of police is doing to his family. And because of that hindrance, he cannot figure out, fulfill his dreams. And Robert is helping him to move past his inner struggle, his circumstances, and find his true calling. And it's beautiful that Robert invests in this young man to become a security guard. And later on in the film, it's that same guy that saves Robert. It's almost like the movie is showing what Robert sowed, he's reaping. And very interestingly, from the very same person that he has poured his soul into. And not only that security guard, but Alina, who wants to be a singer, she's being controlled by the mafia. And so Robert is confronted with the fact that this is a girl that cannot change her world. This is a person that is controlled by her circumstances. And he is trying to find within her the courage to give her a new path. And throughout the film, not only the security guard but Alina are being helped by Robert to find their true vocation in life, their true calling. And another example would be the police officer that was corrupted. Robert helps him to go back to his original calling, to go back to his roots, to his heart, to his conscience. And even though Robert gives him a harsh treatment, he's not about destroying this person's life. He's about trying to get down to their hearts and help them make a change, a transformation in their minds. So those are three examples, three characters that we see that are battling between light and darkness, between good and evil. And Robert is helping them to find their true purpose. And the movie could just be given away by the first line in the film, what it says, that the two most important days in your life is the day that you are born and the day that you figure out why. So right off the bat, the movie is about purpose. And that's what Robert is struggling from beginning to an end. He's trying to find out his calling. He's trying to find out what is the reason why he's alive. And that quote in the movie is telling you that Robert is about to figure out that he is the equalizer, right? It doesn't actually state it in the film, but it's implied when everybody's asking him, who are you? And everybody wants to know who he is. And he's somebody who figured out what is the reason for his existence. He's somebody that has finally accepted his true calling. And this movie is not only about purpose, but it's trying to drive you to experience the emotions that Robert is feeling, to figure out who he is, to finally be in a place where he can make a decision to transition his life to be this vehicle of justice and truth. And when he's about to make this leap of faith into his personal calling for the world, it's a very emotional scenes that are going through back and forward. It's not supposed to be easy to figure out who you are. It takes courage to embrace your true identity. Robert goes through introspection, meditation, and preparation because it takes a strong will to make a decision that he's gonna change his life, and he's gonna, whatever the consequences, he's gonna go full force into what he perceives is his path in life. So that process, you feel it throughout the movie, The character is having to face this realization, and Robert McCall is about to change the world as he knows it, because he's being confronted with everything he has studied and learned throughout his life. That's the third thing that I can think, that every single book that Robert is reading is actually something that he's going through within his own personal life. At the beginning, he's reading The Old Man and the Fish, and it's interpreted by Robert that it's about a man that is figuring out who he is in this world, and he sees himself through the fish. And that's almost foreshadowing what is about to happen between Teddy, Nikolai, and Robert. He sees himself in the fish because he helped him to recover a part of his life that he thought it was over or it was a loss. Not only that book, the second book he's reading is Don Quixote, which is a book that he says is about a man who believes he's a knight, but he lives in a world where knights do not exist anymore. That is literally a reflection or a recollection of the ideas that Robert is struggling in his mind to be this warrior for truth, to be this warrior for justice, to be this person that brings balance into situations. So as Robert is reading all these books and he's analyzing all these things, he's faced with this situation with this young girl, and he cannot close his eyes, he cannot turn his back away, he cannot pretend that he doesn't know or have experienced the things that he's seen done to this young woman. And he has to make a strong choice and decision. And he recalls in his mind the very same words that he tells the young lady: change your world. This girl has been sent into his life to confront him. Are you gonna act upon all the knowledge that you have in your life, all the books that you have read, all the things you have meditated, all the experience you have been through? Because the fact is, she cannot change her life, but you can. And perhaps you're the only person that can. And he's being confronted face to face with this reality. And as he recollects these words that he has spoken to the girl, he makes the choice. He makes the decision. And to live this life that he's about to live, he has to have a worldview. He has to have some convictions, some guidelines. And that's another interesting feature, that Robert is not going about his business just trying to eliminate everybody. He's actually giving people choices, and he's examining what is his role in these people's lives. And there's another part in the movie that Robert visits one of his friends named Susan, and Susan's husband asks her, were you able to help him? And she says, he did not come for help, he came for permission. Meaning that Robert is about to bring down the whole world of mafia to give this girl an opportunity to change her life if she chooses to do so. So he was well aware, so he's giving them heads up in the CIA, in the government. Something's about to go down, and I'm about to give this world, I'm about to change the world of this girl so she can have an opportunity, if she chooses to change her life. And that's very interesting, because Robert does not know if she's going to turn around and make things better. And that's why Susan asks Robert, why are you doing this for this young girl? And Robert simply says, because I can, which is not that simple, because in fact he's the only one that can. And that's one of the ways you can know what is your true purpose and calling, when you figure out that one thing you can do that nobody else can do like you. And Susan tells him, because that's who you are. That's who you always been. So sometimes all the things you have gone through in the past that were wrong were to take you to the place where you can make things right, when you can figure out who you really are. And so Robert is a person that has figured out his purpose, and he's helping others, like Alina, like the security guard, and like the police officer. He's helping others to figure out who they are in the world. So that's why at the end of the film, I really enjoy the part where Alina comes back and tells Robert, thank you for everything. And Robert looks like surprised, because he did not expect that. That was almost like the kiss of destiny upon him, letting him know all your energy and effort were not wasted, because it was worth it. If only one person changes their life, it was worth it. So that's my thoughts on the movie Equalizer. What do you think about these spiritual review, let me know in the comments and I'll continue to give you movie insights, spiritual reviews.